guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video. If you are new, I hope you stick around and stay for some more. Today we're doing another fun foundation video, and this is like, I get so excited about this. Hold up, I quickly want to tell you guys about Skillshare since they are sponsoring this video. Skillshare is an online learning community for creatives where millions come together to master the art of, well, basically anything that you want to learn. There are hundreds of classes available for any sort of interest that you might have. Most classes are under 60 minutes with short lessons so it can fit into your schedule easily. If you are a makeup lover like me, there are so many classes on makeup, brushes, and other creative empowering tools for women to start your business. I'm actually busy watching a class on changing a tire and fixing your car for women. So I do have an offer for you. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 2-month free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. It is the Urban Decay All-Nighter Foundations. Angel singing. You guys know that I rave about this foundation. You know that I use it in my kit. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into this so I can show you exactly what this guy is about, how to use it, and what I rated out of 10. So I decided to especially film this video today because I've been dealing with some really hectic breakouts, and I thought the best way to show you guys how this actually covers is by using it on those areas especially. So let's first look at what this foundation is going to promise you. They're saying that this all-nighter foundation is going to give you a full coverage matte finish and an all-day wear without it looking overdone. Long-lasting wear, perfect for all-night affairs and other activities. Our revolutionary formula is also comfortable enough to wear every day. So where Naked Skin is like a demi-matte, the all-nighter is a full-on matte foundation, but it's never flat and it's oil-free, making it perfect for oily skin. They say we loaded this foundation with this formula with an insane amount of pigment, about 3 times as much as Naked Skin, about 3 times as more pigment. That is like, there's no need to build coverage or apply multiple layers. It's a waterproof formula that diffuses light to blur flaws for perfect skin, mattifies and absorbs oil, and reduces the appearance of shine. And then they also have like a whole story behind this foundation with Wendy, the actual creator of Urban Decay. So this foundation is actually the #1 foundation in my kit. It's the #1 I grab for on all my brides, but it can be pretty tricky to work with. So I thought I would also film this video today and explain this foundation, because a lot of people would buy this and end up not liking it because they actually don't know how to use it properly. So without further ado, let's jump into applying it. So I zoomed you guys in quite close and personal so you can see everything on my skin, and I am in the shade #3. I know with the new Stay Naked foundation that they launched, I think the Naked Skin has been discontinued. They have a whole different numbering system that absolutely confuses me, and I actually really preferred this one. But yeah, I'm shade 30, and in my kit I basically only keep a few foundations. I don't have the whole collection, and then I kind of mix in between. So if I have a 30 and I have a 4, if I have a 30 and I have a 50, I can mix a 40. I'm going to prime my skin first, and I'm going to use the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. This is one of my favorite primers now. Remember how I mentioned that this is for oily skin, right? I personally struggle with very dry skin, especially in winters, and I do love this foundation, but I have to be so careful when using it because it can look very drying on my skin. If you have an oily skin, then you can just like apply this product straight away. But this morning I really did like an intense moisturizing skincare routine. I applied lots of layers of hydrating, like I did a hydrating toner, and I did a hydrating serum and a hydrating moisturizer, and then my sunblock as well, which is also hydrating. So you can see my skin is kind of glowy and nice and hydrated. And then I'm going to go in with the face base, which is also pretty hydrating, just to give my skin that hydration that it needs, so this foundation doesn't look dry on my skin. This primer smells so good. I love the smell of it. It's one of my favorite primers, especially for dry skin. And this is also a primer that you can use on a lot of underneath a lot of foundations if you also struggle with dry skin. So another thing I love about this foundation is, I'm not quite sure how to explain it, but it's got like some sort of an air pump system that actually pushes this little plastic thing upwards as you squeeze it. So when this foundation is finished, you got basically every single drop out of this bottle. So I started with one pump on my hand, and as mentioned in my previous video, it's always best to pick up from your hand and then apply it to your face instead of putting on your brush. I'm using the Juvia's round top foundation brush today, and I'm going to pick up my product and go straight into this area. Look at that coverage, it's like insane. Like, I have never come across a foundation that covers as well as this, not even Krolin. I think the other thing with this foundation also is that it feels lightweight on the skin. Like, even though there's so much pigment to add like all that coverage, it just feels like, I don't know, you're not wearing like a ton of foundation. And you can see how only that little bit almost covered the whole half of my face. I still have some more left here. Let's do this side. Okay, so absolutely this foundation is matte and perfect for oily skin. It's oil free, it's also pretty waterproof, so you can sweat and do your thing and it should stay on if applied correctly. You can see how I'm kind of pressing it into the skin, and with this foundation you do have to work quite fast, because if you apply it here and you move over to this side to kind of blend it out and you go back, this has already dried and then it's so hard to blend. So that's why it's best to kind of pick up product and blend it in as you go along, because it dries so quickly. So for myself, I won't use a powder to matte this down or set this in place, because it kind of dries matte already onto my skin. And here's the other thing, right? So when you use this foundation, you have to bronze black. Sorry, I had to change my battery, so I'm a little bit lost, but I think I was busy doing my foundation here, and I was saying that when you use this foundation, it is so important that you bronze, blush and highlight with your whole routine. The reason why is because this foundation is so pigmented, sometimes it seems like the undertone really pushes through and it creates like this one shade on your face, because it's so full coverage and so pigmented that, as you can see, sometimes you can either look very yellow or you can look very orange or you can look very pink, because obviously you're using the foundation that matches your undertone. Like, I'm like slightly yellow undertone, so I use the yellow toned foundation, but as you can see, it can look pretty yellow on the skin, and it's only because the pigment is so intense. Another thing I also want you guys to notice is that this foundation dries a bit darker. They say that it oxidizes, but I'm not sure, like, oxidizing, I kind of find like foundations that oxidize kind of oxidize throughout the day and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. I just feel with this one, in about a half an hour it goes like a shade or two darker, and it kind of stays that shade for the rest of the day. So if you're doing your foundation match, just keep that in mind. But yeah, I know 3.0 is like my perfect shade, as you guys can see, but now it kind of just looks like my face is one color. So this is where it's really important to incorporate some highlighting. So I'm going to use the Stay Naked concealer, and this is in the shade 20WY, and I have some product on here as well. This is a very light shade, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of that concealer to my foundation, this is another trick I love doing on every single client, because I just keep the lightest shade of foundation in my kit, and then I mix a little bit with the foundation, and that way you get like the perfect shade for concealing underneath the eyes. So I'm going to pick up this crown brush, it's the C533, and I'm basically going to mix this together. You can see it's quite light, but it's like the perfect shade, and I'm just going to apply that underneath my eye area. What's nice about this foundation is because it dries matte, you can also only use that underneath the eyes instead of concealer, because it obviously dries and it covers really well. So most of my clients absolutely love this. I always get brides asking me, what shade did you use on me? I would love to try it out. And it's so hard because most of the times I kind of just like mix everything to get my perfect shade that I want to use on her. It can be a bit tricky, but this foundation is just something that photographs really beautifully and just stays on the face the whole day, which is something my clients really want and love. And you get all of the coverage, like more coverage than Estee Lauder Double Wear I spoke about in my previous videos. But it's just like, it doesn't feel like I'm wearing makeup on my skin, if that makes sense. Or you feel like you have to, and even if you have oily skin, I would definitely go in with a powder. Sometimes I would kind of just powder like my laughing lines or my T-zone, where is the only bits I get a bit oily, or maybe just a little bit over here. But today I'm not going to use any powder, so I'm going to finish up with some bronze, blush and highlight, and then come back so you guys can see the difference. So I just finished bronzing, blushing my face and applying a lip, and as you can see, it just looks flawless. Like, it makes such a big difference when you add those steps. And I know, like, every single one of my clients, when I go in with this foundation, when they say they want full coverage, the look on their face when they see themselves in the mirror before I start doing the bronzing and everything, they always have like this sort of unsure look on their face. But once I start contouring, highlighting, bronzing, doing all those sort of things, the whole look just kind of comes together. And like, even wearing this foundation now, I just realize again how in love I am with this formula and how amazing it is. It's like phenomenal. So I'm going to set everything with my all-nighter setting spray. Of course I had to grab this because it's one of my favorite, it's actually my absolute favorite setting spray, and it's really, I know it's a bit more on the expensive side, but once you use it you just notice how long your makeup actually lasts. Okay, so who is this foundation for? Absolutely for anyone struggling with intense oily skin. You will love this. If you want something that's full coverage and matte, this one is going to be your guy. Normal skin, it just looks flawless on normal skin as well. Dry skin like me, as you can see, I did a very intense hydration skincare routine this morning, and this foundation looks beautiful on my skin. I wouldn't recommend going in with this foundation alone if you just have pure dry skin and you do no skincare routine to kind of hydrate and plump your skin. Then you are not going to enjoy this. Make sure that you bronze, blush and highlight to really like add more dimension and depth to the face, and also make sure you blend it out as you apply it so it does not dry matte and then you cannot work in that area again. What will I rate this foundation? I always thought that this is my 10 out of 10 foundation. Absolutely, because as I say, my clients love them. People who I recommended to love it if they use it the correct way. I love it. If I can use it like this every day, I would absolutely. It's just like, I know I like rave about this foundation so much, but you guys, I have tried so many foundations out there on the market and I've just never been as impressed buy foundation as I've been with this one. So where is it available? In South Africa we have urbandecay.co.za. We also have a store in Sandton City, in Menlyn Mall, in Gateway, and in V&A Shopping Centre, as well as a subdivision store, I would say, in Fushimi in Eastgate. Now I know that Urban Decay has been struggling with a lot of stock issues lately. Trust me, I have been so frustrated by that as well. I haven't been able to buy the stuff that I usually want, but they did tell us that they are working on that, and hopefully we can soon like get every Urban Decay product our heart desires. But maybe I'm a little bit biased because Urban Decay was really the brand that helped kickstart my career into the makeup industry, and when Urban Decay launched in South Africa, that was my first ever event that I was invited to. I think 4 years ago, it was like my very first event I attended, and I just love the brand for its edginess, and I feel like it just like really represents me in so many ways. So I might be a little bit biased, but I just absolutely love this foundation. I wanted to share all my tips and tricks with you. If you ever wanted to try it, that you know how to use it. And please let me know in the comment section if this video was helpful, and also if you will be trying this guy out. But yeah, let me know if there's any other foundations you would like me to do. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, as always, stay sweet.